Alright, so I'm back in my corridors, and I've been working trying to make the Kariva make rounded turns, and not having great luck with it. But I thought, what happens if I just try and make the Kariva itself turn? And I've kind of come up with something here. It's very basic and it's severely limited compared to the Kariva. It can't work in 0G and in a vertical orientation, but it is capable of doing 180-degree turns and completely following a path inside corridors. So you can see I've even got two turns clicked right together, and you can see when it turns, it tilts, and then once it gets to a straight, it straightens out, and it just automatically does that, and it's very, very simple logic. There is a remote control on it right now for testing purposes, and there's two programmable blocks for testing purposes, but those are off. This is entirely off of sensor logic and just how the propulsions are set up. And it basically lodges itself in the corner a bit just because we have offset suspensions and stuff, and that does a thing. But it pulls itself out of the corner and it just keeps on going. And this is pretty it might be actually able to go faster. I've only got it at about 5% power and 5% override, so it's using very, very little actual propulsion overrides right now, which also means it can't really move a whole lot. And also, just because of this arrangement and the fact you need all the space to do the turning, you can't really do much with it. Like with the Kariva, you can kind of get that 3x3 grid into it, so you can have access to things like welders. With this, you really can't, because there's just no welder in the game that can fit in these corner blocks. Nothing fits unless you're using like a modded small block. But as you can see, it's just going, and there's no AI blocks or anything going on here. This is 100% just timer logic. It figures it out. And you can see I have that exit there, so it doesn't matter which way how you orient these corridor blocks. I think it looks cool. It's kind of like it's soft robotics, but in space engineers, which I didn't think was possible, but it kind of works. And the way it's set up, it's tileable, so I think you could even link multiple of these sections together if you wanted a longer snake. But yeah, there's a lot more to configure on this to make it work, or to I don't know, give it a use. I think there might be how I use the offset blocks here, or the connector blocks to connect to a corridor through. I think I could do that, but instead of using the 3x3 connectors, which won't work space-wise, I can use the 1x1 connectors, and I think that'll allow us to suspend possibly another small grid outside of the tunnel, which would be really cool, because yeah, I think it would be really cool. I'm super stoked this is actually working, because I had the idea 2 nights ago, and I've spent a couple hours just figuring out the optimal wheel orientations, and then kind of racking my mind for a couple days. I was deciding what would be the best way to go about this logic. And eventually I just kind of realized that I could just do it with 3 sensors. And I don't even need an EC block, I don't need a timer block. This is just automatically adjusting, and it works so good. Let's give it a shot here and see what happens if let's take both of these because they're not linked right now, and let's just pump this propulsion override to 79% and see what happens. It doesn't seem like it's going that much faster. It might be still limited by the power. So let's just increase the power to like 25, see what happens. Oh, that's actually seems like it's going a lot faster and even skipping from that second corner jam. Oh yeah, look at that. Let's go. Even more. 75. Oh, get me out. Cruise. 76% power. Let's see what happens. It still jams up in the corner a bit. Seems to be moving faster. It's still, because of the way like these wheels are interacting, just to make that corner, it's losing a lot of power just there. So, and then until it straightens out, it can't really. I don't even know if it's moving that much faster. It's moving faster for sure. Can I do more? Full power! With no whoa! Okay. It kind of really smashes into the corner. Whoa, it takes those 180s real fucking fast. Holy crap! It's moving. Okay. So this thing can actually move at a decent pace. Okay, did not like that. So because it was moving so fast, it actually overwhelmed the timer logic. So that is one limitation. Do this and this. Is that gonna fix it? Do this. There we go. Okay, so let's bottom centering. Let's turn this speed limit down to like 95. See what happens. So when it had two consecutive opposite turns, it got stuck because it just didn't have enough time for all the logic to update. And there we go. It succeeded that turn there. So it's going pretty quick now. And it is bumping into the wall. Like there's unfortunately no getting around that. I don't know if that would be a problem in survival. I don't think so, because the wheels will be providing a cushion before any of these blocks connect with the wall. So it shouldn't be an issue. But if you're going slower, or if I just increase the speed at which this hinge moves, because it's only at like 4 meters per second right now, so if I did that at like 20 meters per second, that's a little harder to change. So then it would probably turn faster and then have less of a bump into the wall. Actually, can I do that? And it looks like I can jam it up if I kind of get in its way. So let's go here, section, rotate to angle, and this is left, so that's negative 45, and we'll do this at like 20. So as you can see, the logic is pretty simple. We've just literally got to rotate to angle and then tilt sensor off. It just disables the opposite side. Rotate to angle, 45 and 20. Okay. That should. Okay, it's not quite fast enough. Maybe I'd have to go faster than that. I also need to update the centering. It's still returning at 4. But no, this is moving a lot faster. So let's go here. Let's go to sensor and sensor. Oh, hey, come back. Alright, I'll get you on the other side. Stay. Sensor and sensor. Go here. This logic here is for something future. But as you can see in this one, all it does is it sends it to the sensor and then turns back on the side sensors. But we can do this, go rotate to angle 0 degrees. Let's do 35 on this one. So this will rotate back to center. Oh yeah, look at that, snapped its right. It just snaps its wheel. Okay, so let's actually jam it up. Sensor left, sensor, rotate to angle, negative 45, 30, 35, I don't know. I think I did 30 on the other one, but oops. Rotate to angle, 45, 35. Get me out of here. Okay, yes, now it's still pausing a bit, but it's not fully jamming head on. Okay, I think I could even increase that faster, because it is moving at a clip, like it is going. So let's let's do that. Let's do sensor left. Sorry, I know this is riveting content. Whoop. That was wild. Let's do 40. Or actually, rotate to angle 45. No, screw it. Let's just do 60. So now it's just snapping as fast as possible. Yeah, it's still catching. It definitely takes those 180s a little bit easier, it looks like. But it's definitely slamming on this wheel more, which I think is better, because then that allows... it'll just work better with tiling. But, wow, it's going fast. Like, I'm pretty much... I gotta run away from it. Oh. We're caught. Why are we caught? This is the first failure I've had in a while. So why would we get caught here? Let's see if it happens again. Of course, if I had this, like, one more link on it, it would be way, way more reliable. I just wanted to start with just 2 links. Caught on this, so it was previously having issues with that. So wonder if we do top, maybe I need a little more friction on these. No? Got power. Maybe I just needed to tweak the strength a bit, because these top wheels center it, so they kind of, the top wheels are playing a real important, not just in propulsion, but in pulling it out of that corner, especially when it's on this side and it doesn't have that wheel. See, here's one of the issues is when you're coming on that alternate turn, a left turn for the rover, or the snake. Oh man, this thing is cruising. See how it kind of smashes? There's no wheel up front. Like, this wheel's set farther back, so it has to smash on that wheel. And this wheel has to have less friction and less strength in order to center everything right. Yeah, well, yeah, we're cruising at a speed here. This is probably close to the maximum speed. I think we definitely hit the maximum speed at corners, and it can probably get a little bit faster. I think it's about 60 meters per second before you start having issues with driving things inside corridors, and that's just it just stops you from going faster, because the physics engine just bleh. Doesn't like it. But I think we can probably see its speed if we do something like this. So yeah, we're going about up to 9 meters on those straights. And of course we're dropping all the way down to 0 when we hit. But we're quickly rebounding. Nope. Okay. So this is a new one. Actually, that might have been my fault. I think what might have happened actually is because I was in the cockpit, it turned on the I think maybe it might have turned on one of the scripts when I was in the cockpit. Yes, it did. It turned on. Come on. The PB Park script, which fucked with the hinge. That's why it jammed there. So if we disable that, it won't do it again. I just had that, I have that script on there right now just so that I could position it into place when I was testing. And right now it's only capable of moving forward. I could mirror it so it could move backwards, which I might actually do because I don't think it really adds too much to it, and that would be kind of cool. It actually might even be able to move backwards, just out of velocity, but I don't think it'd like it, so I don't want to do that. But yeah, this seems to be running really... Oh, okay. So no, we do have another hinge here. So what likely here is the problem is it comes here, it's set, and then because it's gaining so much speed, it's overwhelming the sensor range on the front sensor. I can show you where that is. See, so this is the sensor range, right? So when it turns right here, it's going so fast that before this sensor becomes parallel with the corridors and turns off and triggers it to straighten out, it's already moved past it. So that's an issue with speed, but it also might be able to be solved with simply sensor segments. Do like 1.8, and then in order to fix it, sensor left, turn on. Okay, let's try that. So that's just gonna give it, it's gonna require less vertical space, so that should work. That looked good. I corrected there. No problem. So yeah. Come on. Do it one more time. I just want to see it. See, no issue. Yes, yes. Very nice. So this is, I don't know. I think this is interesting. I haven't quite figured out like what it's useful for. If I can get that using 1x1 connectors to suspend something on top, you could use it as like a track. So if you like wanted to make kind of like a merry-go-round type system where you've got a loop of corridors and then a structure on top of the corridors that moves along that loop, you can do something like that, which definitely have some uses. I don't think there's there might be some fringe ways to make it self-building, maybe, by using that same trick. The problem is what I've been finding with using that connector through the corridor trick is it can be quite clangy. It's usually pretty stable until you hit issues of adding and removing mass to that grid. So if you wanted to build something static and attach, it works good. But if you have, say, a bunch of cargo containers on one side and a welder on the other side of that connector, when it removes that mass from the grid, because connectors don't have shear inertia tensor, they're quite, it's very apparent, and it creates phantom forces. Not necessarily phantom forces, but it creates forces that kind of have to weeble wobble until they die down. And because you're moving the grid at a speed, that doesn't really work so good. But yeah, that's a complete tangent. Whoa! Yeah, don't kill me. This thing's moving. I didn't think it was going to be able to move this fast. Okay, I gotta stop. I'm like actually getting dizzy to fucking trying to stay in this tunnel. But yeah, I don't think I have much more to say. Definitely, holy shit, it's 20 minutes. I've been talking for 20 minutes. I guess I actually did a lot of testing in this video instead of just showing off something. I actually was changing settings and making flies. Usually my work process in Space Engineer is much slower than this. I think about everything for 20 minutes, then I make one small change. That's usually what I do. But I wanted to see how fast this thing could go. And turns out it can go pretty friggin' fast, I think. Definitely slows down in those corners, but that's to be expected. Next thing I gotta work on is... it's already started, I have a plan for it, but implementing a way of dealing with T-blocks. Because the way the sensors are currently set up, it's just kind of like a crapshoot of which sensor is going to trigger first. I think it'll always trigger the right sensor first, actually, whenever it enters a T-block. But otherwise, it should be able to drive through a T-block. I haven't actually... Could I test that? I want to do that at a spot where it... I don't know how to test that. That would be too much work. But yeah, I got to figure out how to T-blocks. Basically, what I want it to do is I want... I'm not exactly sure how I want, but maybe like a way to just stop it as it comes into a T intersection. It just goes bonk and it stops. One other issue is when it comes in like this way to a T intersection, because the front sensor won't see a block, like it's... Is it expecting to see a block there? I don't even know if it is. I might not know what I'm talking about here. Come on, where are you? Yeah, it's actually not looking for on first detection, it's only looking for end. So it should actually come in from that side. As long as there's also blocks here and here. So as long as it's a complete T intersection, it would come in here, the left side would trigger. The only thing I don't know what had happened is, because it kind of has to wedge itself into a corner, I think what would happen is it would kind of maybe momentarily wedge itself here and then move forward and eventually correct. I don't think it would ever be able to make this left turn, just because it requires that corner to wedge and push off of to recorrect. So yeah, T intersections are definitely going to be problematic, and I'm not sure if there's a good solution, but you can make a single way track, or yeah, let's just leave it at that. I think for now, I think the goal is just to worry about single way tracks. I don't... It's hard to say. I'm not... Is there a way to test this? Come on. Alright. If we put a block here. Oh, what happens when this happens? Okay, it did not like that. That's what happens. And I don't think it's going to be able to correct itself. Now it's got stuck. Can I pull it in? Oh, I can. Nice. Oh, it's... That's interesting. It's completely tilted the other way and it's still somehow managing to turn. Oh. There we go. Okay. That should have fixed it now. Yep. Curious what happens here. Yeah, it ejects itself out, and then it's off for a drive. Yeah, and because those wheels are, that's why it's clanging out right now. It's because these wheels are touching. So yeah, T intersections gonna require some effort, but they should maybe be able to work with a little bit of effort. I already have a way of using the front sensor to detect whether or not there's a block in front of it and turn off and on a light, which then you can use an EC to detect the status, which you always know. So then you can disable the left and right sensors based on if there's a block in front of it. If that makes any sense whatsoever. I'm going to shut up and just upload this video because it's been way too rambly. But that's where I'm at.